trying to get your attention about a gathering that we're organizing in the Bay Area this coming May 13th to the 17th. We're going to be having a 4-day tattoo gathering, Indigenous traditional tattoo gathering that's going to take place in East Oakland. And we're excited about this because it's something that our Indigenous relatives there in the Bay Area have been asking for a while. And so I know that there's a lot of work that's been done in the Bay Area, especially with the Muwekma Ohlone. That's their traditional territory. And I've been following the Muwekma Ohlone because I have a really solid brother from the nation that's been doing a lot of work and putting in a lot of work, and we go to ceremony together. And so it's really important for us to reach out to the Muwekma in order for us to make this gathering a success that we're having. And this gathering, it's not just only a tattoo gathering. This gathering is because we want to come together as Indigenous people who have been resisting big oil, extreme oil. This oil, this bitumen, this toxic substance that's coming from Alberta, Canada, Fort McMurray, and on its way from Edmonton through the Trans Mountain Pipeline corridor, all the way down into Vancouver, Burnaby, Tsleil-Waututh Nation, filled into super tankers and heading out through the Salish Sea, past the Port Angeles, past the Lummi, the Klallam, the Makah, the Quinault, like all the nations in the Pacific Northwest that are going to be impacted by these increase in super tanker traffic, these big Aframax tankers that are coming through. And a lot of times they're not even being, these heavy loads aren't even being brought in by locals. These are Russians, these are Chinese that are doing this work, and they don't know the water, they don't know the land there. And especially the fishermen and the communities in the Pacific Northwest that continue to maintain indigenous fishing economies for thousands and thousands of years before the white people got there. And so us in the interior of so-called British Columbia, Canada, we depended on salmon as well for the last thousands and thousands of years, where they say the DNA of the salmon is in us, and some of the reasons why we continue to fight hard and continue to fight tirelessly against big oil and extreme oil that's really maintaining imperialism. Big oil maintaining European dominance in the world. Wars are fought over oil, yet they continue to make Canada look like a conflict-free zone, although Indigenous people continue to get arrested, continue to be criminalized and thrown in jail, even attacked by these pipeline and oil securities. And even the Canadian government formed an industry police called, it used to be called CIRG, the Community Industry Response Group, now called the Critical Response Unit, CREW. But they're forming industry police to fight, to go and arrest and jail and terrorize Indigenous people that want to stand up and continue to stand up and fight back against extreme oil. And so in a way to resist and fight back, our family and our movement built tiny houses on wheels that are located now at Blue River, confronting Canada's colonization and occupation and this oil industry on our lands. And so we have 6 tiny houses on wheels forming a land back village where land back is real. Land back is not just a slogan, land back is real. Indigenous people are actually literally taking land back against the Crown. And it hopes to create a resistance movement against big oil and a Indigenous movement for sovereignty and defense of our lands and territories. We reached out to our relatives and start working with our relatives south of the Medicine Line, the so-called American-Canadian border, into the Pacific Northwest and to Washington State, and working with the Klallam people, Anthony Fernandez and Savage Fam, and working with Lummi and calling on other Pacific Northwest tribes to come together to the Salish Sea assemblies where we could continue to talk, organize, and strategizing on how to combat big oil and defense of our Indigenous lands and waters. And In a spin-off of this organizing, we're now going into the Muwekma Ohlone territory, which is so-called the Bay Area of California. Muwekma Ohlone Nation to organize with our people there, with the activist community, but as well as the Indigenous community. And we are calling a part of this gathering, we're also calling a 4-day traditional Indigenous tattoo gathering that we're going to be bringing in traditional Indigenous tattoo artists to bring back and bring some of this tattoo medicine to the people that Indigenous people that have been doing the work. We prioritize tattooing Indigenous peoples. So if you're Indigenous, you want to get your traditional tattooing done, this is where you do. It's a part of our warrior culture. Our war paint, our tattooing, bringing back from, to fight back. Anyways, I got some stuff people are saying. Oh, someone's from Calgary. Yeah, Calgary is another really big oil country, Indian country, but oil has impacted so much of Alberta, where colonization is and genocide is still alive and well in Alberta, Canada, and all across Canada, really. And so Chevron and these oil refineries that are there in the Bay Area are being really attacked by the activism taking place. Anti-Chevron Day is an annual event that takes place every year. And so Indigenous people, different activists of all different types of ethnicities and races and organizations all come together to resist Chevron, because Richmond, California was built, the city of Richmond was built off of these oil refineries. And so it's exciting, where we're going to have a good time out there organizing and strategizing and building a long-term plan on how to fight back against big oil. So that's May 13th to the 17th in Muwekma Ohlone territory in the Bay Area, having this gathering. I'm going to put some more information out, but also we have some fundraisers to support Indigenous delegations, tattoo artists, and artists that will be coming in for this event, as well as the canoe families. So there's going to be tribal canoes that are being brought down to participate and put them in the water in prayer, for our lands and in defense of our land and water from big oil. So we thank everybody for your support. Tiny House Warriors has been on the land for 8 years now, actually taking land back from the Crown and this thieving, racist, rapist country of Canada that's been, terrorizing Indigenous people since first contact. But in so-called British Columbia, we never signed treaties with the Crown or Great Britain or Canada. So our land still remains unceded and unsurrendered. And the Indigenous nations across so-called Canada have treaties with the Government of Canada, which is their inherent rights and their title to the lands. And so Canada has broken every single treaty across this land, yet the inherent rights and the collective rights of the people still remain. And we're going to be organizing another big gathering in September in Ontario, in so-called Ontario, in Toronto, Canada, to honor the work of my late father, Arthur Manuel, and his work for our Indigenous rights and our title, our sovereignty, and our territorial authority over our land. He said, it's really simple. We're fighting for land and self-determination. And the land that has made these white people wealthy in Canada has been off of our land. And so we continue to stand up and fight back, and in many different ways, fight back to preserve our language, our culture, our lands, our waters, but also Indigenous people are forming their own self-determination plans. And what does that look like when we are in 100% control and have 100% territorial authority and decision-making powers over our land. What does consent look like? Free, prior, informed Indigenous consent look like for Indigenous peoples? And every nation is different. So really getting organized in our governance structure is what we need to do. And so thank you all for listening. And I'm going to come back live all week. I'm going to be coming here, giving more updates about what we're doing and what we're organizing and why it's important for you to continue to support. Thank you, Kuksjam from Sekwatmuk Ulu, Kanahus Manuel, signing off. Okay. Hope to see you all soon. I'm going to sign off here now.